Half-Life 2, arguably one of the best games of the first-person shooter genre. It's almost unthinkable that a game like this could be created to such meticulous perfection, but that's just Valve's bread and butter, detailed to a peak, gameplay that excites, events that make memories, and a legacy that has left fans writhing for every morsel they can get. But for all those rewards and accolades, one market was missing out: Japan. See, Japan, and for that matter many of the Eastern nations, are not terribly attuned to FPS, and the newest waves sparked by the dual-stick revolution were making it harder on consoles. Adding to this is the decided console for Half-Life 2, Microsoft's Xbox. The system's sales sucked in Japan, despite strong support from third parties like Sega during its launch. This was made worse due to key issues like the system's controller, a great behemoth which its creator, James Blackley, tells stories of even now. So, a market that didn't fare well with FPS games, plus a failing console made for a game that didn't get much love in Japan. And this is where we get Taito Corporation. Yes, the Space Invaders, Puzzle Bobble, Hockey, and Rocky Taito Corporation. Following their purchase by Square Enix, they announced in a private exhibition their efforts to produce an arcade rendition of Half-Life 2 with Valve's help. It will be known simply as Half-Life 2 Survivor. It will be developed to run on Taito's then impressive Type X arcade board, which was pretty much just a glorified Windows computer running Windows XP. The game would remain a Japan exclusive until around June of 2013. With the work of several tinkers on Facepunch forums, Half-Life 2 Survivor would come to the standard PC. Everything it could get to work, they did. Survivor PC is a pretty accurate effort to port the arcade version, for better or worse. The only thing not working is multiplayer, for the simple reason that it's not running on Taito's hardware nor software, and Taito killed support for Survivor in 2010, likely to make room for their then new Cyberdiver and Street Fighter 4 machines. So what makes Half-Life 2 Survivor so unique to the original? Well, a hell of a lot, actually. The game offers 3 game modes. There's the story mode, which pulls off a vague retelling of the original game, though given a deep arcade emphasis. The mission mode, allowing a team effort of goals to complete, and battle mode, a 4-on-4 game mode mimicking Half-Life 2 Deathmatch with some hints of TF2. The bizarre experience you'll get from the game and/or mod is the story mode. Veterans of Half-Life 2, hell, even people vaguely familiar with the franchise, will no doubt know about the rather thick and characterized storyline that has helped define the series. To translate that to a format fitting of the snappy coin cruncher nature of arcades seems impossible, but that's why Taito has taken some liberties when working on this game to accommodate. Story and dialogue events are all pre-rendered, leaving the game time to load the next area. Each chapter is composed of scenes to accommodate the shorter time one has for arcade play. Some sections are cut entirely to keep the pace going or to compensate for the odd control scheme provided to arcade players. You don't use a flashlight or even pick up objects traditionally. Weapons are also more limited. You will only get a maximum of 6 weapons in a given level. And this means between levels you'll lose a lot of weapon variety, and worst of all, the signature tool of Half-Life 2, the gravity gun, is only finally introduced in Anti-Citizen 1, a damning sight that means Ravenholm's lovely saw blades are nothing more than decorum. The changes to the story also introduce a rather jarring disconnect that will likely leave new players bewildered. I honestly pity anyone whose first experience with Half-Life 2 was through Survivor in the arcades. References of Eli and Alex, Dr. Mossman, and Dr. Breen only really come up during flashbacks in Entanglement, which is the 7th chapter of the game. Needless to say, story mode is both the highest and lowest points of this experience. The mission mode is cool for a minute. It offers 3 different objectives regarding destroying houses, endlessly spawning zombies, or killing off antlions as quickly as you can to take their gems. Don't ask why, just do it. The battle mode, despite its simple explanation, is quite deep, really. While the gameplay is nothing more complicated than a class-based spin on Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, the options given to players is quite dense, and the reason it's lacking now is because of Taito's shutdown of the Nessus servers. These are basically the servers hosting player info and loadouts. You could purchase weapons and cosmetics, customize your classes, and then use them in matches, all saved on a card. Luckily, the weapons are all programmed into the game, so with a bit of debug fun, it's possible to play around with this hidden arsenal. It's worth noting that the class system is actually integrated into mission mode as well, so you have all that variety going there too. The controls were also such a bizarre thing, and probably one of the best reasons to play the actual game. Look at these things. It's a set of arcade sticks and foot pedals. It's like some bizarre racing game turned into an FPS. These controls are limited for good reason. It's in order to not overwhelm the end user. The problem is, it does get to be a little awkward. The controls require you to move this like nub thing with your left hand, and the right one will act more like a traditional joystick regarding thresholds for turning and aiming. And of course, as mentioned, there is no use button, so it's not possible to pick things up. Then again, that hasn't stopped me from doing it in this game. The use button is still programmed, but it's not meant to be used. Take this bit, for example. In Anti-Citizen 1, you need to cross this bridge. Now, by all means, you would be activating this lever yourself, but the arcade sticks just don't have that button. So, to accommodate, you'll have to kill all the Combine on the other end to trigger an activation event. And you can see it from that scene. I used the lever, but once the Combine had been defeated, it will lift back up. And showing the airboat gameplay, one section that's been cut from this is the physics puzzle, wherein you will move barrels under a crate in order to lift the ramp. That and all their physics puzzles have been cut from this game. And that's where the addition of the gun for the airboat sections at least add a little bit of a more interesting experience. Back in the day, critics actually considered this to be a good introduction to the Half-Life series, and praised the controls for being intuitive despite the initial oddity. And one day I wouldn't mind being able to try the game in this style. Still, all in all, it really is just Half-Life 2. Sure, it's a cut-down version with a story that has nearly no semblance of story, and apparently weapon options as absurd as dual-wielding rocket launchers. What?! If you're interested in trying this out, the Facepunch forums are linked below, where you'll find the survivor resources, binaries to run the game, and a how-to on getting the game running. Believe it or not, Taito is still playing around with the whole arcade game adaptation stuff. In 2014, they released an arcade version of Left 4 Dead, but sadly there is not much to it. It's simply Left 4 Dead with a Japanese cast of characters and a coin-op spin. And unlike Half-Life 2, where the controls were the most interesting experience out of it, Left 4 Dead's arcade experience is just this weird nunchuck thing and a razor mouse. I bought that for an Xbox 360 a while ago. Half-Life 2 Survivor is a strange, incredibly Japanese take on a legendary FPS. It shows the difference of a market that had no interest in the genre, and the dedication of a company going in to expose a relatively niche game to an audience that otherwise probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. And legends say that there's a playable unit set up inside of Valve's offices, though I wouldn't be surprised. Survivor, and as a whole, Taito's work with Valve, is now historical to the company. Projects like Cyberdiver and Counter-Strike Neo will definitely prove that as well. I honestly hope one day we get to see all of these bizarre renditions of great games finding their way onto Steam, and we can all enjoy these games and the cultural phenomenons that they are. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this strange tale, hit the like button, consider subscribing and sharing the video out, or leave a comment maybe on your perspective or opinion of Half-Life 2 Survivor.